Hey there, so glad you're here. This is Reddit Stories Podcast. Relax, you're safe here. Here's our first story. Karen reported me I got fired from food delivery and I deserved it. This is a confession, and I want to start by saying I know I made a mistake. I'm not proud of what I did, but I need people to understand what led me here. Not everyone sees the full picture when they hit the report driver button. For some, it's just a minor inconvenience. For people like me, it can destroy our only source of income. Also, English is not my native language, so please excuse any errors. I live in the Philippines, in Manila, and I work full-time as a food delivery driver. I work with every app I can: Food Panda, Grab, Lala Food, anything that will let me log in and earn. It's the kind of job that doesn't pay well unless you're constantly moving. No breaks, no slow days, just go, go, go. If you stop, so does your income. My family lives in a small barangay about an hour outside the city. We don't have much. Most days, all we can afford is one small bag of rice to share. No meat, no fish, just rice, salt, and maybe soy sauce if we're lucky. I send money home every week, even if it means I go without a proper meal myself. I've made peace with that. What hurts more is the way people treat us like we're invisible. Every day, I pick up orders that cost thousands of pesos. Imported sushi, grilled steak, giant fraps, Korean food with names I can't even pronounce. I go into restaurants that I could never afford to eat in myself and place the order for the customer. Then I carry the food, sometimes several floors up with no elevator, to luxury condos that have marble floors, air conditioning in the hallway, and front desks guarded like embassies. I don't expect a tip. It's not required, and I never ask. But sometimes, when I'm dripping sweat after climbing flights of stairs, and the person opens the door without even looking at me, I wish they'd at least say thank you. Most of the time, they don't. And when I do get a tip, it's 10, 20 pesos at max. That's 35 cents in US dollars. I'm not ungrateful. I know every peso counts. But that kind of tip, after spending hours in traffic and standing in long queues to place the order, sometimes feels like more of a reminder of how far apart our lives are than a gesture of kindness. Recently, I lost one of those jobs, my main source of income, and to be honest, I guess I deserved it. I don't feel like a monster, but I did do something I shouldn't have, and I'll explain. Also, when confronted about it, I didn't lie. I confessed because I knew I had done something wrong and I was immediately fired. Many drivers use a sort of hack every now and then. I had never tried it myself because I was always afraid I'd get caught, but other drivers assured me that there was nothing to worry about as long as you're careful. I won't go into great detail, but it's basically like this. Customer orders, rider picks it up. Then the rider calls the customer claiming to be the restaurant and telling them there was a problem with their card, asking if they can pay cash on delivery instead. If the customer agrees, the rider can make a week's worth of pay in an hour if the order is large enough. The customer double pays because there was never a problem with their order. So yes, it is wrong in that sense. But Robin Hood was praised for stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. So how am I so wrong for what I did? The only reason I even tried it was because I recognized the name right away. It was her again, the woman who always finds a reason to complain. The same one who lives in one of the fanciest high-rise condos in the entire city. I've delivered to her before, and it's never gone well. She's filed complaints about me in the past. One time, it was during a literal typhoon. Streets were flooded so bad, I had to walk part of the way with my delivery bag above my head just to keep it dry. I still made the drop, only a few minutes behind the original time window, and she still gave me a 1-star rating and said I was late. No, thank you. No, stay safe out there. Just a glare and a slammed door. Another time, she ordered nearly 20 different sauces from Burger King. I remember because I triple-checked the bag, but somehow one small packet of barbecue sauce was missing. That alone was enough for her to file a complaint with customer service, saying I was careless and unprofessional, as if I had eaten it on the way there. So when I saw her name pop up again, my heart sank a little. I was already having a rough morning. Just before logging in to start my shift, I'd gotten a call from my sister back home. She told me our mother's health had taken a turn overnight. Nothing major had happened yet, but she was getting weaker, harder for her to speak clearly, and our family is worried. We can't afford hospital care. The best we can do is keep her comfortable at home. That call stuck with me as I rode into the city, trying to keep my focus. I was on edge before I even opened the app. Then came the order. Big total, of course. Expensive sushi from a place I've only ever seen through the window. And the name on it? Hers. The woman who files complaints like it's a hobby. I should have unassigned it. Maybe that was my first mistake, but I needed the money. I picked up her order, loaded it on my bike, then I saw it. A casino sign lighting up in the sky in front of me. Take a chance. It only takes one time, are general ideas of the translation. I felt like it was a sign that if I want to get ahead, I have to stop playing it so safe and start taking risks. My mind went straight to the scam, but I hesitated. Just then, I saw a Cybertruck drive by, like it was another sign. So I went ahead and tried it. Well, it didn't go the way I thought it would. Karen must be smarter than she looks, because she didn't fall for it. She did send me her number when I asked for it, but when I called her, pretending to be the restaurant, she went completely off the rails. She started cussing at me, calling me names, telling me I was incompetent. I didn't know what to do at this point. It was like my mind went completely blank. I ended up hanging up on her and was now afraid to deliver her order. Shortly after that, the restaurant started calling me, but I didn't answer. Then the food delivery service called me too, but I didn't pick up. It all happened so quickly. It was like my sense of time became heavily distorted and I was falling into a spiral of anxiety and panic. All I knew was I wasn't going to show up to deliver her order now. So I rode down the street, gave her food to a homeless man I saw, and closed the app entirely. I decided to drive all the way home that day instead of staying at the bed space in Manila I usually use, and tried to forget about the whole thing. But my dad could tell something was really wrong with me. I ended up explaining the whole thing to him. He told me that he understood why I did what I did, but that it still wasn't right. That just because others have more than us, it doesn't give us a right to take from them. He told me that even if that woman had been rude to me in the past, I'm the one who's in control of my emotions and not her. That when we act in ways that aren't true to who we are, it's not a mistake. It's a lesson in disguise, and sometimes lessons hurt. But that if I didn't take accountability, this would continue to haunt me even if I never logged back into the app again. After talking with him, I knew exactly what I needed to do. I called the food delivery service myself and told them what I had done. As expected, I was immediately fired, but strangely, I felt better after that. Then I sent Karen a text message apologizing for what I had done. I explained that what I had done was very out of character for me, and that just because I'm struggling financially, I had no right to try to scam her the way I did. I told her that I had been fired and will never try anything like that again, but I offered if there is anything I can do for her to make it up for her, I would be happy to. I waited anxiously for if she would reply or not, but she didn't, not even to cuss me out. I was shocked the next morning when I woke up and there was 1,000 pesos she had sent to me on Gcash. That's almost $20. It had been sent from her phone number and it had a message saying, "Don't do it again." I would never have imagined that Karen of all people would send me a gift after I apologized for trying to scam her. But I guess anyone can surprise you. I'm still delivering for the other apps, and strangely enough, I've been getting larger tips lately than ever before, and customers have been being very friendly to me lately, smiling at me and thanking me. If I ever get another order for Karen, I promise I won't try to scam her again, but I will be extra careful if she orders 20 dips, and I'll try not to get stuck in any floods. Loved this story, and I know what it's like to deliver food to ungrateful people. You did the right thing, and honestly, it sounds like it's paying off. The universe is funny like that sometimes. A while back, I refused to lie for a customer who claimed they never got their order just so they could get a refund. I knew it would affect my rating, and it did for a while. But a couple of weeks later, I got hired at a better paying delivery service that actually treats us with respect. Sometimes when you stand your ground, even if it feels like you're risking everything, things start shifting in your favor. Keep your head up. This story just ticks me off. I don't care how poor you are. Stealing is wrong, and I sure as heck wouldn't have sent you any sympathy gift like she did. I would have been reporting you to the police so you can go to jail where you deserve to be. Actions have consequences, and justifying it because you're struggling is part of the problem. Can you chill? Yeah, OP did something dumb, got fired, and is now showing genuine remorse for it. He even personally apologized to the customer when he was under no obligation to. Your comment sounds like it's coming from your own emotions and has nothing to do with this story. If this story genuinely upset you, it's time to do some reflection. You know, it's rare that a story ends like this. OP could have just vanished into the delivery app void, but instead, he owned up to his mistake. That takes courage. And as for my fellow Karen, I have to admit, this one surprised me. She actually sent him a gift. Maybe her heart grew 3 sizes that day. When we do the right thing, even though it's hard, it doesn't just stop with us. It ripples out. People see it, they feel it, and sometimes it wakes up something inside them. You mean like one small act of integrity can ripple across the whole world? Like threads in some cosmic web? Exactly. Some call it the butterfly effect. Others just call it quantum physics. Am I the jerk for not letting my stepsister borrow my wedding dress? Throwaway account in case people involved are on Reddit. I'm still trying to wrap my head around what happened this weekend. I, 23 female, got married last year to my husband. It was easily one of the happiest days of my life. My family was involved in everything, and I was over the moon about it. Even my stepdad, who I had a rocky start with years ago, played a big role, and it really meant a lot to me. His daughter, who's 26, is a complete different story. We just never clicked. It's not just personality differences. We've always been in competition without meaning to be. Growing up, we'd fight over clothes, toys, music, you name it. She always seemed to like the same things I did, which made it hard to have my own space. She's been with her fiancé for a while, though I've only met him a handful of times. To give you an idea of what our dynamic is like, she announced her relationship at my wedding reception. Literally took the microphone during a lull in the dancing and made a 20-second PSA. It annoyed me at the time, but I let it go because I didn't want to cause a scene on my wedding day. 4 months later, she announced she was engaged. I swallowed my annoyance again and even tried to be supportive. I shared contacts for my florist, photographer, and DJ since everything was still fresh. She set her date for the day after Christmas, so I assumed everything was in order. Then Saturday rolled around. She called me sobbing. Through tears, she told me her wedding dress wouldn't be ready because of some last-minute alteration she had ordered. No one has ever seen her dress because she wanted it to be a surprise. I felt bad and tried to comfort her. I told her I knew some nice boutiques that might still have dresses ready to buy right off the rack, but she got upset and said she didn't want any cheap dress. Before I could offer to call my stepdad to brainstorm options, she suddenly asked if she could wear my wedding dress. I froze. I didn't even know how to respond to that. She started explaining how it would make everything easier, how we're the same size, how much she loved my dress when she saw it. I just said no and ended the call. Not long after, my phone started blowing up. She called, her fiancé called, and eventually my stepdad called. I finally answered his call, and he pleaded with me to let her borrow the dress, saying I should think of it like when we were kids sharing clothes. I told him I couldn't do it. That dress means too much to me. My mom and I worked so hard to save for it, and it was my dream dress. He got angry and hung up on me. The messages haven't stopped since. My stepsister called me selfish. My stepdad said I was ruining her wedding, and now I feel torn. It's just a dress, right? But at the same time, it's not just a dress. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing for me, and I don't want anyone else in it. Would I be the jerk for refusing? Not the jerk. I'm calling shenanigans on your stepsister's part. She probably had her eye on your dress since day one, probably commissioned a similar dress, if she even did, hence the surprise, and planned to use your dress as a backup if hers didn't show up in time. Do not give her your dress. She's going to alter it, stain it, or accidentally ruin it, and you will never get it back in the condition it's in now. This is why people lock their wedding dresses up. She's already guilt-tripping you. You have every right to say no. Update. Well, that was a disaster. I met her at a coffee shop the next morning, hoping we could talk things out calmly. She was 30 minutes late, and by the time she walked in, I was already on edge. I started gently. I told her I wasn't comfortable letting anyone wear my wedding dress and that it was deeply personal for me. She went off like a firecracker. She called me selfish and cruel, said I was trying to ruin her big day, that I already had my turn. I tried to stay calm, but after 10 minutes of this, I realized there was no salvaging the conversation. I pulled her wedding invitation out of my purse. I'd brought it just in case, and slid it across the table. I told her I wouldn't be attending the wedding, but I hoped everything went perfectly for her. That set her off even more. She got louder, yelled that she would come to my house and take the dress herself if she had to. At that point, I stood up, I wished her luck, and I walked out. Now I'm home, and my phone is exploding again. My stepdad, her fiance, and even her friends are messaging me. I'm staying off my phone for the rest of the day. Update 2. I wish I was coming back with a funny or a happy ending, but this got worse. After the wedding drama, I didn't speak to her for months. Around springtime, we started talking again. I wanted to rebuild the relationship, so we went on a few double dates with her and her husband. Things seemed better for a while. Then, a month ago, she and her husband took a break. After that, she stopped answering my messages completely. I figured she just needed space. In mid-August, she called me out of nowhere and asked if she could come over to talk. I actually felt hopeful. I thought this was a peace offering. My stepdad had been encouraging us to make up, so I said yes. She came over, we had coffee, and she asked to look through my closet because she said she had nothing to wear for a date. It felt like a full circle moment, like we were finally sisters again, so I let her. She found an outfit she liked, thanked me, and left. A few days later, I was cleaning out my closet and saw that my wedding dress, which had been hanging in its garment bag since the day after my wedding, was gone. I tore the closet apart, thinking maybe I had moved it. Nothing. I called her, trying to stay calm, and asked if she had seen it. She immediately got defensive and hung up on me. I called my stepdad. He was furious that I would accuse her of something like that. An hour later, my stepdad called back. He had gotten her to admit that she took it. She stole it. He told me to stay calm and resolve this like adults. I called her again and told her to get a lawyer. Now my family is in chaos. My mom called and begged me to find another way to work this out, but that dress is irreplaceable. I saved every penny I had for it. I'm terrified she's altered it or damaged it. Am I the jerk for suing my stepsister? File the police report today. She stole it, period. If she alters or ruins it, you should be compensated for the cost of the dress and emotional distress. She had her chance to do the right thing. Instead, she ghosted you and then stole from you. You're not the bad guy here. This isn't about a dress anymore. It's about boundaries. If she faces no consequences, she'll keep doing stuff like this. New update. I promised I'd update once I knew what happened with my wedding dress, so here it is. After my last post, I filed a police report. It was terrifying to take that step, but I knew if I didn't, she might think she could just get away with this. My stepdad blew up my phone, telling me I was being dramatic and destroying the family. My mom, on the other hand, told me to stand firm. A week later, I got a call from the police. They had gone to her house to ask about the dress, and she admitted she still had it, but hadn't decided what to do with it yet. She claimed she was keeping it safe. The officers told her she had two options: return the dress immediately or face charges. She returned it that same day, but my heart sank when I saw the garment bag. It wasn't the one I had stored it in. I unzipped it with my mom standing beside me. Thankfully, it wasn't cut up or destroyed, but it had been altered. The hem was raised, some of the beadwork was removed, and it looked like she had tried it on more than once. I took photos and added them to the case file. At that point, it wasn't just about getting it back. It was about accountability. I filed a small claims case for the cost of the dress plus alteration fees. Last week, we had our hearing. She showed up looking furious and told the judge that I never even wore it anymore, so it shouldn't matter. The judge was not impressed. He said theft is theft, no matter how sentimental the item is, and ordered her to pay me the full replacement cost plus court fees. Walking out of that courthouse, I felt like I could finally breathe again. My dress is not perfect anymore, but I have it back, and I have peace of mind, knowing that there were consequences. My stepsister hasn't spoken to me since, and my stepdad is still cold toward me. But my mom told me she's proud of me for standing up for myself. I don't know if we'll ever have a real relationship again, and honestly, I'm okay with that. At least now, my boundaries are crystal clear. Good for you for following through. She needed to face consequences for stealing something so personal. I'm glad the judge sided with you, but then again, it didn't surprise me. She didn't just borrow it, she altered it. That's next level disrespect, and your stepdad can be mad all he wants. If he raised her to think this was okay, that's on him. You handled this like an adult. This whole saga is absolutely insane. She hijacked your wedding to announce her relationship, begged for your dress, threw a tantrum when you said no, then months later literally stole it out of your closet. OP, be careful. That's not just competition, that's obsession. So she didn't just borrow the dress, she went full-on cat burglar and altered it. Yeah, she didn't want to share a memory, she wanted to rewrite history. Imagine announcing your relationship at someone else's wedding and then breaking into their closet 9 months later. That's villain origin story behavior. She basically speedran the entire How to Become the Family Drama course. But that judge handed her the L so hard, it probably left a mark. No ma'am, I'm just tall. This happened about a week ago, and I still feel secondhand embarrassment every time I think about it. I'm 6'5", mid-30s male, and that day I was wearing a plain navy blue hoodie with jeans. I had just gotten off work and decided to stop by one of those massive hardware stores, we'll call it Homeworld, to pick up a new shower head, nothing major. I wandered over to the plumbing section and started comparing shower heads. There were way too many options. I had 2 in my hands, one fancy one with extra settings, and one that was just a simple upgrade. I was lost in my thoughts, trying to do the math in my head about water pressure and price. Then I heard it, the throat clear, the kind that slices through the noise of a big box store and somehow makes your spine straighten. You know what I'm talking about. I looked up and there she was, mid-50s, perfectly styled Karen haircut, sunglasses on her head even though we were indoors. She was glaring at me like I had personally ruined her day. Well, are you just going to stand there, or are you going to help me? It took me a second to realize she was talking to me. I glanced around. There were no employees nearby. Me. Sorry? I don't work here. She crossed her arms, already scoffing. Then why are you dressed like that? I looked down at myself. Plain hoodie, no name tag, no vest, just navy blue. Sure, the employees at Homeworld wore blue vests, but this was clearly not a vest. Me. Sorry, ma'am, I really don't work here. Oh, don't lie. You're just being lazy. I saw you helping that other guy. I realized she must have been watching me earlier when I chatted with another customer about which shower head he liked. We had just been 2 random guys making small talk, but apparently she thought that counted as assisting. Me. That was just another shopper. We were talking about shower heads. She shook her head. This is unbelievable. I want your name. I'm reporting you. Now, here's where I admit I panicked. I could have just walked away, but my brain short-circuited and I blurted out the first thing that came to mind. Me. It's Greg, with 2 G's. Her eyes lit up like she had just been handed evidence for a trial. She dug through her bag, pulled out a crumpled store receipt, and started writing furiously with a lipstick of all things. Good. You're going to regret this, Greg. At that point, I decided there was nothing left to say. I just walked away, showerhead still in hand. About 10 minutes later, as I was heading toward the registers, I saw her again, this time at the customer service desk. She was in full meltdown mode, waving the lipstick-covered receipt like it was a legal document, pointing toward the plumbing aisle and ranting at an actual Homeworld employee who looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. I made my purchase as quickly as possible and left the store before she could spot me again. So if there is a real Greg with 2 G's working at Homeworld who recently got written up for being unhelpful and sarcastic, I'm sorry, man. You didn't deserve that. This is the drama I'm looking for. I'm sorry, you're right. I simply don't want to help you specifically. Please go find my manager. I'll wait here. Let her go look for the manager, then successfully embarrass herself. I'm picturing this lady marching up to customer service like, I demand justice for this mysterious Greg with 2 G's. Meanwhile, the real Greg, with 2 Gs, could be somewhere on break eating a pretzel, wondering why HR just sent him a warning email. You know what? I hope Greg with 2 Gs becomes a homeworld legend. Like every time something goes wrong, they'll just blame Greg. Who forgot to restock the light bulbs? Greg. Who broke the forklift? Greg. They can even print Free Greg with 2 Gs on a t-shirt. Or hang a picture of him on the break room wall. Hero or menace? Nobody knows. My ex-girlfriend opened 2 credit cards in my name, she ran up $7,500 in debt, and now her current boyfriend is threatening me. My ex and I broke up a little more than a year ago. We lived together for a couple of years, and I know she had access to my financial information. When we broke up, I moved out of the house that we were renting, and I thought I had taken everything that belonged to me. Back in February, while doing my taxes, I realized I couldn't find my folder with my previous year's tax returns anywhere. I assumed it got lost in the move, and I didn't think much of it. Last Friday, I got served with a lawsuit for over $5,000 in a defaulted credit card. When I pulled my credit report, I saw that the card had been in default since May, and there was another one that had been closed in June for about $2,500. I had no knowledge of either of these accounts, so I immediately disputed them with all 3 credit bureaus. I spoke to someone regarding one of the cards, and they told me that it was opened in January, well after I had moved out of the house. The cards had been sent to my old address. I received the statements for that card, and about 80% of the purchases were from Nordstrom and Macy's, 2 of my ex's favorite stores. I'm pretty sure she opened the accounts and used my social security number from the old tax returns. I called my ex, but she denied everything, even when I told her that if she had anything shipped to the house using a stolen credit card, she'd eventually be found out. She flipped out, started screaming at me, and told me to never talk to her again. About 20 minutes later, I got a call from a blocked number. It was her boyfriend, threatening to make my life horrible unless I stopped harassing her by claiming that she stole my identity. He hung up, but it shook me up. I looked him up, and I saw that he has serious felonies on his record, including aggravated arson and aggravated discharge of a firearm, in addition to some battery charges. I'm in a tough spot. I risk retaliation if I pursue this, especially from someone with such a dangerous history. But I also can't just sit back and do nothing. I would greatly appreciate any advice. This is for every identity theft situation where you know the person. Here's the info you need. 1. Call the police. You're a victim of identity theft. It doesn't matter who did it or what your relationship is to them. They broke the law and now they must face the consequences. 2. Freeze your credit. Prevent this from happening again by freezing it. 3. Monitor your credit. You need to be alerted if anyone tries to open a new line of credit in your name. This can be done for free, and it shows your credit score. 4. Warn others who might be affected. This includes family members of anyone else whose social security number could be compromised. And 5. Take the police report to the credit bureaus. When you dispute the accounts, give them the police report number. That should be enough to remove the accounts from your credit. It's on the creditors to prove the accounts are legitimate, and a police report goes a long way towards clearing up your credit. Update 1 month later. I followed the advice in the comments and I went to the police. The process was quick and painless. I was in and out in about 30 minutes with a report number. I haven't received any more phone calls from my ex or her boyfriend. I provided the report number to the credit card companies and the credit bureaus. I was told that I don't have to do anything else except show up for the court date regarding the lawsuit. Today, I learned through a mutual friend that my ex was arrested this morning. Apparently, the county issued a warrant for her last week and she was pulled over on her way to work. It looks like she was charged but released quickly. I also found out that my ex and her boyfriend, the one who threatened me, are no longer together. I don't think I have to worry about him anymore. The court date for the lawsuit is later this month, but everything has already been removed from my credit report, and my score has jumped up by almost 200 points. I'm still planning to attend the court date to ensure everything is cleared up, but so far, it's all good news from here. Am I the jerk for making my daughter pay for her own college testing and applications because she was caught cheating? I received a call to pick up my daughter, Lily, because she had been caught cheating on her practice SAT. After arriving, I learned that Lily's friend, Sam, had also been caught cheating. Her score was canceled, but thankfully, Lily will still be allowed to retake the test, and this has not gone on any kind of record. When I talked to Lily about what happened, she told me that Sam's mother was going to punish Sam if she didn't earn an exceptionally high score. In turn, Sam had pressured my daughter to help her cheat. I felt for a long time that Sam is not a genuine friend to Lily and has been trying to hold my daughter back to feel better about her own poor choices. I had spoken to Lily about this before and warned her not to let Sam manipulate her into doing anything she knows is wrong. Lily told me she understood, yet she still did this. I told Lily that, to prove she will take her education seriously from now on, she will need to come up with the fee for her future tests and college applications on her own. I suggested she start working odd jobs, such as babysitting or dog walking for the neighbors, to save up early. Despite telling me she understood, the time to register for the next test is approaching, and my daughter asked me to pay because she's short on cash and her school will not offer the test again until spring. She brought up the original excuse that Sam pressured her into cheating. I told my daughter no. I'm not going back on my word, and she will learn to treat these opportunities with respect once she has to earn them herself. I also told Lily that she needs to stop letting Sam manipulate her, and if she can't stand up to her, then maybe she doesn't have the mental maturity for college. Our extended family got involved in the disagreement and insisted that we cover the fee because it's for her education and it's important for college. I'm not allowing them to cover the fee for Lily because it undermines my lesson. Inevitably, someone pretending to be her friend will pressure her to cheat again in college. When she gets caught again, I'll end up losing thousands of dollars, and Lily will lose her shot at a good education. Her college journey won't last long unless she learns responsibility now. Even though she spent her money poorly and doesn't have enough now, she will be able to wait and test in the spring, even if it's a less convenient time for her. Am I the jerk for putting my foot down with Lily and our family? Edit to answer comments. Lily is now a junior in high school. Taking the test in spring will not delay her college applications. If she takes the test in spring, or even decides to retry during the summer, her score will still be available for her to use by the time fall applications roll around. I've also broken down the math in multiple comments already. Lily had and still has ample time and opportunity to save up. If she spends her money wisely this time, she will have more than enough to cover the fees, especially since these are the only expenses she will need to cover. Not the jerk. I get that it's hard to see your kid struggle, but sticking to your decision is probably the right move. She messed up, and paying for her own tests might actually teach her something about responsibility and consequences. If you give in now, she might not learn the lesson you're trying to teach her. It's tough, but she'll benefit in the long run from understanding the value of hard work and making better choices. Karen trusts a sidekick and ends up destroying her own marriage. That's exactly what happens in our next video. It just popped up on your screen, so give it a tap with your thumb or click with your remote. Karen and I are already waiting for you. See you soon.